right, so Ready or Not, haven't heard about this game. Actually, haven't heard any controversy about this game until now. It says here that Ready or Not sparks censorship outrage as Void Interactive retroactively censors game for all players, including PC gamers who bought the game years ago. Now, I know I bought the game years ago as well. So, let's see what the controversy is with the censorship. I'm guessing. I know a lot of people, like lately, a lot of people have been having outrages when it comes to games and things like that. Some stuff I agree with, some I don't agree with. So we'll see what happens. And this is also brought to you by That Park Place. So make sure to check them out. I'll also have the article linked down below in the description. Now let's go ahead and see here. So they said that the highly regarded tactical shooter Ready or Not is now facing an intense anti-censorship backlash after developer Void Interactive confirmed that sweeping content changes are being rolled out retroactively. That means it's not just the upcoming console release, but also for existing PC players who purchased the game years ago. What many are calling an outright betrayal is igniting deep frustration across the Steam community, where users feel that their purchased product is being rewritten without consent. Well, okay, it's still not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and look further into this. Originally released in early access and officially launched in 2023, Ready or Not quickly gained a strong following for its greedy realism, challenging gameplay, and unflinching depiction of tactical SWAT scenarios. But as the game prepares to debut on consoles, Void Interactive has chosen to censor core elements of the game across all platforms, including reductions in gore, toned down dismemberment, and covered up mature visual content. So I do remember there was I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do with one of the modes. They have active shooter mode, and also they have bomb threat, and basically you have to go and defuse a bomb, but they do have people with suicide vests and stuff. So I don't know if that's going to be covered up, if that's going to be like patched up in the gore, like from the gore and everything. Now, there is some, there are some, I want to say interesting, there is some pretty disturbing, I would say pretty disturbing things that are in this game. There's one like you raid like a mansion, it looks like a birthday party and everything, and it looks fine, right? But then when you go into the basement, it's like this person, the person is a, how would I say it? Person is a pedo, right? They don't show exactly the images, but they have like they have like a red room and it's like photos and stuff like that, like Polaroids and stuff. I don't think you get to actually see them. I don't know, because I usually shoot the guy. But yeah, so like with that, I'm not entirely sure like where they're like, if that level is going to be taken out, or if there's going to be some adjustment to the interior of the building or in that area. I'm not entirely sure, so we'll have to see. Let's see here, going further down. If you have purchased this game years and years ago, your version of the game is now going to be altered, said gaming commentator Bar Dark in a recent video covering the controversy, which is ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, it's true. Like you paid what you got, you know. There shouldn't be a way to any changes to your game or anything like that. It should be like an option to have that, like, or what they could do is basically put the put an option like the toggle if you want to have the original content in there or have the updated. That's the way how I would just, you know, I would try to rectify the situation, if that makes sense. All right, so they said that Void Interactive attempted to frame the changes as minimal in their 87th developer briefing on Steam, referring to limited changes needed for console certification standards. But buried within the announcement were confirmations that these changes apply globally, not just to console builds. And they said, and fans questioned why PC couldn't refrain the original version. The developers responded on Steam by saying that supporting separate builds wasn't feasible due to the workload and crossplay concerns. That answer has not gone over well. Okay, I'm just gonna say this in defense. I'm gonna say in defense for this, because just trying to see it on their side as well. I can see how this can be a headache. You have two separate builds. You have one for PC and then you have one for console. And say, for instance, you know, you have the developers working on the game pretty much, right? And there's like an update and things like that, and everything's going well. You're gonna have to do those updates twice. like you're gonna have to like work twice on the games themselves, because you have one that already has certain or is already packaged a certain way, which is the one that has the original stuff. Then you have one that has the gore and everything cleaned up, probably some code that was adjusted to fix some things, or level assets that were changed as well. It's just that right there can just kind of be, you know, tedious, because it's like, you know, I know they're thinking work smarter, not harder type of thing. So I can see that. But again, they should have like a toggle option for those things, for like original content, and you know, I feel like that could be an issue as well. So I could see that being a I could see the defense of that. Now I kind of like I that's what I'm thinking personally is the whole thing. Everybody's been wanting this to come out for console. A lot of people want it. What's up, Q? Everybody wanted this to come out for console, and I am too. I'm literally buying the game on console. Because I want a hard copy. I already have the game on PC, but I want a physical copy. I love tangibles. I love physical, tangible games. I love them. So I'm going to get it on console. Don't give a damn. And just in case any of my Xbox buddies or whatever want to play it. And the thing is, I don't even know if it's going to be crossplay. That's also another thing. So, the game is so good, I'm willing to buy it. So my thing is, when it comes to the consoles, I feel like, yeah, there has to be like certain adjustments when it comes to console, where like, hey, we can't have this, especially if you're gonna have it on, what's up, Knight? If you're gonna have the game on like PlayStation and Microsoft, things like that, because I don't think they've ever had a game where it's like this, where it's pretty hardcore. You know, I don't think they've ever had that happen. So I'm thinking if they want us to sell it on console, if we're the only way we can have it on console is by adjusting it, let's do this. Let's make the adjustments to the gore and the nudity and stuff like that. But then on top of that, it was probably in talks. Let's just put that. It was probably in talks about, hey, let's go ahead and let's just keep it separate, leave, you know, PC that way. But then it's like, why do that? Why work on two separate builds when we can just do one and just make it simple? It just won't be as difficult. Because I feel like there would be like, if they update both, there would be a change. There would be like some sort of change, you know, there'd be like some sort of difference between the two in somehow functionality of code, because something is not one for one. That makes sense. Because with code, you can't really copy and paste it over unless, because it could cause some sort of issue, like some sort of way to break the game, something like that. I'm just saying, just from what I was saying. What's going on? What's up? Thanks for the follow. That's what I wanted to say about that. Now let's go ahead and let's get back into it. So yeah, people weren't really happy about it. So then they said this. They said it is feasible. VAR responded. They said there are plenty of studios that do this. All you're doing now is making yourself look worse. It's your job to make the game, so get back to making games. This isn't the first time Ready or Not has faced censorship pressure. In 2022, after Kotaku writer Ethan Gach, I don't know, complained about in-game content he deemed problematic. Void Interactive issued a public apology and removed certain props, including references to the red pill. At the time, the developers blamed placeholder assets from a former contractor, but nonetheless caved to media pressure. I wonder what the red was. Did they just remove the red pill thing because of political reasons? I've never seen that issue. I've never had that issue. We're just going over our article. All right, so then they said that they basically bent the knee to Kotaku years ago, Barr said, which was a major turnoff for a lot of people. But now we have this brand new situation on our hands, which is 10 times worse. Indeed, the worry among longtime fans is that once a developer caves to politically motivated media outrage, like that scene from Kotaku, it becomes a slippery slope. Today, it's mature content and gore. Tomorrow, it might be entire missions, themes, or gameplay elements deemed too problematic by critics. The precedent has been set. If you push hard enough, the game will change. I mean, we've done that in the past. I mean, look at Sonic movie. You know, they really screwed up what Sonic was supposed to look like originally. If you guys don't know, just look up the original Sonic. It is crazy. It is insane. But yeah, check that out. Check out the original Sonic and you'd be like, oh, hell no. And then they changed it and then it did well. So, and guess what? Media were saying, oh, the audience bullied the film industry into doing that, into changing it. And it's like, okay, whatever type of thing. So that's always been an issue, especially when it comes to like the gore and like mature for game content. Like that has always been a thing. It's been a thing ever since, I mean, shit, ever since we all been born, like since freaking GTA first came out. And I'm talking about the GTA, like Grand Theft Auto, like very first one. Jack in a car shooting somebody, like people were already saying that was problematic. And then the whole thing where people are, no offense, but people, when these mass shooting outbreaks happen, and a lot of people were blaming video games for doing it, but it's like, no, it's not the video games, it's the person, you know, doing such acts, obviously. And that's exactly what's happening now. Even though Ready or Not was sold as a mature, uncompromising tactical shooter, the version being force installed onto players machines is being quietly sanitized through censorship to meet platform and media expectations. Again, the issue, like, you know, I could just wait until the end for this, like about my whole end statement of that, or my thoughts on it. So they said, according to the latest developer post, player-induced dismemberment still has a large presence in the game, but is a little more limited to what it occurs. Once enemies are dead, no further dismemberment occurs. They also noted that some instances of explicit mature content for a handful of civilians and one suspect has been covered up. Now, I know what mission this is. I don't know the name, but I remember the mission for this, and it's insane. The one for the one suspect covered up, it's like in the woods. It's like a crack house in the woods. And I remember playing this game playing this mission because my PC at the time was just not having it when I was streaming and playing the game. I was playing it at the low settings too, and everything was like super choppy and things like that. And basically what it is there's a guy that you have to arrest. Dude's on drugs like out of the wazoo, right? High off his ass. But he's wearing a ghillie suit. He's wearing like a just a shitty looking ghillie suit. But the dude has no draws on. So you see it. You see all his business. You see the balls, you see the cheeks and everything. And the man's wearing a ghillie suit, just running around his house and everything with a gun. It is insane. Yeah, that was a crazy thing to see. These soft-pedaled explanations aren't reassuring the community. Players are expressing outrage in Steam forums, demanding refunds and slamming the studio for disrespecting early adopters. And worse, many of these threads are being locked or removed, even when users are asking simple, respectful questions. Yeah, that's not always good look. Vara highlighted multiple examples in her video where Steam discussions were shut down for asking about Mac support or save file bugs, showing a pattern of silencing criticism going back years. That has always been a thing when it comes to PC. A lot of people always ask like, hey, is this game ever coming to Mac? And I mean, again, Mac is like the console of PC realm, I guess you would say. You don't really hear much about it, so you know, who knows. Let's see. They have a track record for silencing users who are asking just legitimate questions. She said, I don't think our criticisms now about what they're doing and censoring are really going to get into their heads. Some of the most vocal fans are those who supported the game from the earliest builds and are now being told that their version, once praised for its raw authenticity, is being overwritten in the name of console compatibility. Again, it's just like, if you want to meet the standard, which I'm guessing from Microsoft and Sony, they're like, hey, if you want to sell your game on our platform, you need to change these things. If not, you can't sell it on our platform. And I mean, this is for the sake of console users. Now, I'm wondering if this is going to have some sort of a cross-play or cross-platform, cross-play, build to it, so people can play it with console and console can play with PC, or consoles can play together as well. I'm wondering if that's the case, because then I can see that, being an issue where you have one build being completely different from another build, and then you try to have that cross that crossplay, that cross compatibility, and it just doesn't work, or there's something that was broken because there's something extra in a code for the PC version, and then for the console version it doesn't have it. So then it's like there can be like an error that pops up. Who knows? You caused the moment you thought imposing any censorship of any kind on PC was a good idea, one user said. With the censorship, I want this game refunded and out of my account, I'm done, said another. So far, Steam has not announced any mass refund policy, and it is unlikely they will. Most players well past the eligibility window, which is the first 2 hours. I think it's like if you play the game less than 2 hours, then you can still refund the game. And then it's like if you haven't played the game, then it's like 2 weeks or something like that. I can't remember. So then they said, but that only adds to the anger. Void Interactive profited off the game in its uncensored state and is now retroactively changing it years later without offering customers a choice or recourse. In Varro's words, you're giving the finger to the people who already monetarily supported you in the past by altering the version of the game that they already own. At this point, Void Interactive has not reversed course with Ready or Not entering the console space. The studio appears more focused on censorship compliance with platform holders than on honoring the expectations of players who built its reputation. Let's see, whether fan pressure will lead to a rollback or a forked PC version remains to be seen. But for many, the damage is done. Ready or Not has gone from a hardcore darling to a cautionary tale about what happens when developers bow to media outrage and choose conformity over creative integrity. How do you feel about Ready or Not bowing to censorship yet again and changing the name for longtime players? Sound off in the comments to let us know. Okay, so before I do that, I want to look at SteamDB. SteamDB, Ready or Not. All-time high was 55,000. There's 9,000 players still playing it. 24-hour peak, 9K. Again, me personally, I don't see a problem. Actually, let me just try. That's good. So this is, so it hasn't been crazy. Let's see, 9,000 here. When did they announce this? This was on the, I think this was for the 26th, because I've been, the 30th. This is today. So let's just go back. Let's just dial it back a week. Let's see. So this is the 27th, 28th. I mean, it's like going up and down. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, say anything pretty much, because again, like, yeah, it had a good amount of numbers of, people joining, some people leaving. But now that you want to go into the console space, which a lot of people want a game like this in the console space, which totally makes sense, because just think, like, they don't have any games like this. They really don't. Consoles don't have any games like this. Like, you're Ready or Not, your Tarkovs, your what game is it? 6 Days in Fallujah. Like, those are all PC. Sandstorm or Insurgency Sandstorm, that just came to console not too long ago, but the game has been out for a long time. It's been out since, I think when I played it was on a laptop when I was playing on PC, or I was playing on my laptop, and that was like 2016 when I played Insurgency Sandstorm. Sucked at the game, but the game was fun. So again, okay, so where my whole situation is, where my personal take is when it comes to this game is, I honestly think that this game is okay. Let me put it this way. I don't think it's a big issue when it comes to the game. And the reason why I don't think it's a huge issue is because, I don't think it's a big issue or anything, because the game still plays the same. Just being completely honest, the game still plays the same, and everything. And there are things that are different visually. It doesn't change the gameplay loop. It's not like, you can't shoot somebody in the nuts with a beanbag gun, because you still can. You can still shoot somebody in the face with a beanbag gun. It's just, you can't do some gruesome shit where, like, you handcuff somebody and then you shoot them in the head with a shotgun and blast their head off. Like, you can't do that. You can't execute people. That's basically what they're showing. Now, the thing is with Void Interactive, I don't think, I mean, if they say like, hey, this is like a full-on realism, like this is what we're aiming for, like we don't give a crap, you know, anything like that. If they have said that in the past, yeah, that's a sword that they fell on. But I mean, if they never mentioned like, oh, you know, we're making it, yeah, if they said like, oh, we're trying to make it real as possible, like anything gruesome and everything like that can happen, okay, makes sense. But if they never said that, I mean, having like me personally, having small changes like that is fine. Knight said, I played one the other day and the dude was not censored at all. LMAO, everything hanging out, blood everywhere. Yeah. So I don't know. I would have to get into the game and play it. I'm gonna do it this weekend. Or I'll do it Friday. I'll play Friday. Knight, you down to play Friday? And then also here's the other thing. When it comes to this game, maybe also the reason why they did it is because of like, you know, people streaming and doing like YouTube and stuff. YouTube is a lot easier, but I mean, like with streaming and stuff, there are some levels that you cannot play because of certain things in it. Like you could get banned. So that makes sense. Just saying, that makes sense. But also another thing when it comes to the where people are talking about the games you know, automatically being like updated to like the newer build and things like that. This has been happening for like since the beginning of live service games. Ever since the 360, when they started to do updates, it's been happening. Because I mean, back then you had the choice of if you want to update the game. If you don't want to update the game, then you just won't be able to play online. You just won't be able to play online against people or with people or anything like that. But if you like accept it, then you're able to play online. You accept the new build. That was the price that you had to pay, right? So I think that when people are upset about having updates and everything like that, just from this game, it seems odd because this has been happening for years. Even in the golden age of gaming, it has been happening. Now, if it was something that they completely, and I mean completely got rid of, like if they got rid of 2 or 3 missions because of the censoring or something like that, then yes, that would make more sense. But again, one, they have some people covered up and things like that. So again, my personal take, I don't think it's a big issue. I really don't. And people are saying like, hey, we should be able to have the game the way that we wanted to. Well, you want the game to be how it was originally, then I just think that you wouldn't be able to do online support, maybe because people did the change of the build, right? Or who accepted the update, which is the complete change of the package and the build of the game, is not compatible to the one that you have currently, which is the one that you didn't want to do an update with, right? The previous version or the build, it's not compatible. So you're not going to be able to connect or anything like that. So possible solution could be that they have a toggle feature where it's like, you know, do you want to play on the original, which is like the very mature or anything like that? But the downside is because of, you know, console, apparently they needed to meet certain requirements and things like that. I think what could have happened, I think for their side, they wouldn't have an option to toggle on or off. They would have to play with the updated new version of the build. So that could make people on console upset. But again, I feel like it's Sony and Microsoft's doing where they're like, if you want to put your game on our platform, you need to change this stuff. And I think that's what it was. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the game. If you guys have played the game, you guys think there's an issue? You guys think it's an issue? You guys not think it's a big issue? I understand censorship, it sucks, but the thing is, I don't think it changes the game completely. You can still do everything that you need to do in the game, and the game can still be fun. Now, if you're just, again, walking around like just wanting to go around and blow people's limbs off like consistently, then I mean, it's not really how this game works, because you're trying to detain people a lot. You're a cop, not something else. You're not a vigilante or anything like that. But that's all I got for this video. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later.